I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, where we are tracking moisture moving through. The race is on between the light rain moving out and the cold air moving in, and we are seeing some overlapping now in parts of North Georgia where we have that mixing in with some snow. Before I take you live to Angelina Salcedo in just a second here, I want to give you a breakdown of what's happening. This is the main bit of moisture that's moving down to the south, and that is associated with the front. Behind this, the air is getting colder fast, and I want to take you up to North Georgia here on the map so you can see what we're watching. Now, our Angelina Salcedo is right in this area between Helen and Blairsville, right on the line there between White County and Union County at Hogpen Gap. And you don't really see anything going on there. Now, we did have some stuff showing up on radar here in those highest elevations where we had some snow. Now, even though you're not seeing that on radar, as I explained earlier, that even though we're going to have that main area of moisture moving down to the south, as the cold air rushes in, it's squeezing out any remaining moisture there from those clouds in the form of flurries in the highest elevations. Let's get right to Angelina Salcedo right now, live in our weather impact tracker. And Angelina, you know, we've been watching this, and on your camera every once in a while we would see a snowflake or two. That has changed now, hasn't it?
It has changed, and we actually saw a lot of flurries that were coming down. And I will tell you that the wind has picked up here a significant amount as well. We also saw a lot of fog coming through that was actually blocking the camera from us being able to see those flurries. But as those flurries continued to come down, the air got noticeably colder. We actually went outside to shoot some video of the snow as it was coming down, some of the icicles that have been forming on the side of the mountain as well. So we're going to take you outside so that way you guys can see what it looks like right now. Keep in mind that this is actually a lot less than what we were seeing probably just about 10 to 15, maybe 12 minutes ago. But you can see as this wind continues to come in and whip through, it is bringing those flurries with it. And that was the precipitation that we were seeing just a few hours ago. With the colder temperatures moving in as the night continues to fall, that is what has turned into some flurries here. So if we continue to pan the camera around, you can see in what direction the wind is coming from, the fact that it's whipping these flurries around, and the fact that this snow has really started to fall here. I was told that the roads that are out here along the mountain and even down in Helen, which is just about 20 minutes away from where we're located right now, were actually treated ahead of this snow coming in here and falling down, just as a precaution to make sure that if the temperatures continue to fall overnight, we don't get any of that black ice that typically forms on the roads there because of how cold it is at these higher elevations. I think if we also zoom in here a little bit to the side of the mountain, you'll be able to see these icicles that have been forming. These formed a few hours ago, actually, because of how cold it is up here. The camera is going to continue to shake because of the wind continuing to whip, and that's made it a little bit hard for us to control here. But you can see that the icicles continue to form. They continue to get longer. A little bit earlier, we were actually seeing more water dripping down, but that has now frozen over. And we are anxious to see what this is actually going to look like as the temperatures continue to fall here overnight, and what we could see overnight when people wake up as well, Chris.
And Angelina, what you have just described there is the whole transformation of everything that we are watching up in North Georgia. And what's happening now is, you mentioned the temperatures falling and that wind is really whipping up. So you're now on the back side of the front, and what's happening is that cold air that's rushing in right now is just squeezing out any leftover moisture within those clouds. And you see some of the fog there, and in some of those bigger pieces there, you've got some snowflakes that are coming down too. And it was amazing. You texted me about 15-20 minutes ago and said, Chris, we've got some good snow here now. And I ran out to the newsroom to look at your shot, and it was just really blowing pretty well. Now, I do have to ask you, this is mainly blowing snow, and you're not really seeing any accumulation. I know we don't see any on the road, but you don't see any on the grassy areas or anything, though, right now?
No, we have not. The only thing that I did do when I went outside, and we shot a video so that way people could see it on social media as well, is the snow kind of sticking to the side of the car. But it seems more like iciness, I guess, or a little bit slushy instead of, you know, that thick and like fluffy snow that you would see. So I would say that that's the only difference here that we've seen.
And where you are, Angelina, at Hogpen Gap, right there on the Union and White County line, you're at about between 3,400 and 3,500 feet. So it was much different when you went down the mountain to Helen earlier, it was just rain there, right?
Yeah, it was just rain that we were seeing, and then even at one point after we ended up getting our food and talking to some people that were in town, we actually didn't see any rain for a little bit until we got further up to the mountain, trying to work our way up to this point, and that's when we started to see, okay, a little bit of precipitation is falling, and then we eventually started to see, oh, that precipitation is starting to change over, and my photographer Nicholas and I kind of looked at each other and we were both like, oh, is it happening now? Is it starting to snow? Because when the rain gets close to the camera lens, it can tend to look like snow, but it's still just rain. It was pretty obvious when it turned into snow, and it was whipping pretty hard, and there were a lot of different flakes for us to see too. It was pretty cool.
And Angelina, that's the thing with this. It's going to be brief. There might be just a few lingering flurries around during the evening hours as these temperatures continue to fall. So that's why we didn't think this would be a really big deal up in North Georgia. But we sent you there to document any snow flurries that happened. And as we've said, it is mainly in those highest elevations. And again, you know, at Hogpen Gap, that's a pretty high spot. Now, Brasstown Bald is the highest spot in Georgia, and I'm sure they're having some of the flurries there too. But did you notice the differences as you were coming from Helen, then going up the Richard Russell Scenic Highway, and as you got to those higher elevations? You did kind of explain there how you noticed that precipitation changing a little bit more as those temperatures falling as you went up higher.
Yeah, I would say that was pretty much the main thing that we noticed, was not just the shift in the precipitation from seeing none down in Helen to then slowly starting to see more and more as we got to a higher elevation, but then also feeling the temperature change while we were actually in the car. You could feel it against the window. I'd put my hand, and my photographer would ask me like, oh, well, what are you doing? And I was like, no, you can actually feel that it's colder, and he actually said the same exact thing. So you can definitely tell the change the higher the elevation that you are. I can only imagine what it actually feels like at the highest point that there is in Georgia, because it's pretty cold up here, especially with the wind whipping around here as that system continues to move through.
Well, Angelina, as uncomfortable as that wind is going to feel to you when you're going to be out, the wind is actually our friend when it comes to that moisture on the ground. So the wind will help to evaporate that, you know, moisture that is on the ground there from the rain a little bit earlier, and then again from any of this additional precip coming down. But we want to let people know, especially in North Georgia and in those higher elevations, there might be a period where that wind doesn't dry up enough of that, and there could be some icy patches around. So as you and Nicholas navigate back down the mountain, I'm assuming after our 11 o'clock newscast tonight, please be extra careful, just because those temperatures are falling quickly, and hopefully those roads will dry out in time before, you know, we get to that critical freezing mark. Now, one thing in our favor, even if the air temperature is at 32 degrees, the ground won't be 32 yet. So it'll take a little bit longer for the road to freeze up. So we're just hoping that that wind, that I know makes it feel terrible, is going to help the process of drying out those roads. And I hope that y'all experience that tonight when you're driving back down.
Yes, I definitely hope that we do too. And something that we also talked about is when we put ourselves in these situations where we are in the weather impact truck, the truck is obviously built for these conditions, and that's exactly why we take it to these areas in order for us to cover stuff like this. But the camera that's on the top of the truck that we typically show you guys, like we show you guys the flurries and the ice as well, that camera tends to freeze over once we continue to be in the elements and the wind continues to whip and stuff like that. So it hasn't quite gotten to that point yet where we're not able to actually maneuver the camera or move it around. So we'll see if we actually get there. But like you said, the fact that the air temperature is actually colder than the road, that is what makes the difference here.
Yeah, all right, Angelina. Y'all stay safe up there. You've shown us some great, in fact, flip that camera back around one more time just before we go, just so we can see how the conditions have changed. Just see, it's amazing there how, Angelina, how we'll have blowing snow, you know, 20, 15 minutes ago, and then not as much snow, and there you see a little bit now. And then even earlier where you were showing some of the fog up there too, that was making the visibility reduce. So it's amazing how those conditions really can change from minute to minute.
Yes, it has actually been pretty incredible. We were a little bit concerned before we were going to come on air on the stream with you guys here at 9 o'clock because you actually couldn't see anything from our camera. Now, obviously, you can see a little bit more. You can still see some of those flurries that are coming through. But when I texted you originally, we were seeing a lot of different flurries, and that was pretty incredible to see. And the fog as well as it came through. You could see the different precipitation or particles that were in the air at that time, too. So that was pretty cool.
All right, Angelina, thank you so much. We will look forward. I don't know, we're going to let y'all have a break here unless you're seeing crazy stuff at 10. I'm going to do another stream at 10, but we'll let you have a break because I know you've got to get ready for the 11 o'clock show. But if y'all are seeing crazy stuff there at 10, let us know and we'll do another shot with you coming up for our stream at 10 o'clock.
Okay, we definitely will.
All right, otherwise we'll see you tonight at 11. All right, let's talk more about what we're watching. We've got this Arctic Express moving in. Let's take a look at this over at the Key, and you'll see what we're talking about with that cold air that's moving in. Angelina's feeling it right now. North Georgia is getting that blowing wind, that blowing cold air coming in first, and then that's what's going to be moving into Atlanta later. Now, we're not going to see the snow like they're seeing up at 3,500 feet in elevation there at Hog Pen Gap. But we are going to see the cold air moving in, and tomorrow is going to be much different than what we had out there today, where we saw temperatures today that were in the lower 50s. Tomorrow, our highs will only be in the 30s, but with the wind, it is going to feel even colder. In fact, tomorrow morning, when you wake up to temperatures in the 20s, the wind chill is going to be in the single digits and the teens. So bundle up in the morning. We have another reinforcing shot of colder air coming in on Saturday. And then a new development that we're watching here within the models for Sunday is whether or not an area of low pressure is going to develop and send moisture into the already established cold air in Georgia. And what's interesting with this scenario is that there may be a higher chance for snow in central and south Georgia compared to what we might have here in North Georgia. So I'll break that down for you coming up here as we look at this Arctic air. Now, here's a view in Blue Ridge, also in North Georgia, but at a lower elevation. And we're just seeing mainly rain there in Blue Ridge. We don't see any snow coming down in those spots either. Rome also, we watched that last bit of rain move through there. And we have wet roads, but no additional precip coming down. The flags were really blowing here earlier as that rain was coming through. And we'll see those flags blowing a little bit more as that wind continues to kick up. And then we have a few clouds around the metro area. We had a few spotty showers, mainly light here. Another view of those clouds from our tower cam over at Arizona Avenue, looking westward toward the city. Beautiful view. We've got good visibility. A couple of raindrops there on the lens from some of the showers that came through a little bit earlier. So our snow potential map that we have been showing you over the past couple of days is pretty much lining up with where we are seeing that, and that lines up with just these higher elevations there. I mentioned earlier, Angelina is at Hog Pen Gap, right on the White and Union County line, right around here on the Richard Russell Scenic Highway. And it's in that little spine there of the mountains where we're seeing some of that accumulation of, not accumulation, but just some of that blowing snow that's coming down. Now, this is not the only flirtation with winter weather that we're going to have into the weekend. I'm going to advance this a little bit more going into Saturday. Nothing major there, but notice how you saw the accumulation map change a little bit. That's because on Saturday morning, we're going to have another bit of moisture move in with some cold air that could generate some additional flurries, mainly in North Georgia. For us here in Atlanta, it's going to be just some lighter showers that'll be moving in. Now today, we were in the 50s. We're still well above freezing out there right now. We're at 46 degrees at this hour. And these temperatures are really going to start falling here during the overnight. You can see how we were lowest at 11 o'clock this morning. We got up to 52 at 4, and now we're going to watch those temperatures falling. So we're at 47 here, but look up to Canton where it's 38. We also have 38 in Blairsville, 37 in Clayton. So the colder air is starting to come in. Dalton's still holding on at 41. I expect to see that temperature dropping a little bit more. Rome is going to be dropping soon. And then we're still in the 40s, 47-ish here, 46 down into Peachtree City and Covington. So this cold air is going to start spilling our way overnight. And just look what happens. 45 degrees at 10, 39 at midnight, 34 at 2 in the morning. We'll be at freezing, I'm thinking, by between 2 and 3 in the morning, and then in the 20s at 4, 25 at 6 a.m., and then slow to warm tomorrow, even with a lot of sunshine. We're just not going to see a lot of warming. The wind is really going to be whipping around. It is just going to be cold out there. So we've got this last bit of moisture moving down to the south. And remember, even though we don't see anything here on the forecast track indicating rain in North Georgia, it is just that cold air coming in, squeezing out remaining moisture in those clouds. But once those clouds break up, we won't see any more of that snow that is taking place up there. And so tomorrow, northwest flow, it's going to be windy. It is going to be cold all throughout the day, only getting up to 38 degrees here in the afternoon hours with sunshine. Then Friday, another cold start in the 20s, but we do warm up Friday, high temperatures into the 50s, right around 50 degrees on Friday afternoon. Then another system comes in going into, let's say, late Friday night, overnight into Saturday. Here we go at 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, showers in northwest Georgia, nothing in Atlanta yet. But again, watch up there in the mountains through the overnight hours on Saturday. You see how we see some of that mixing again in those highest elevations there. This is at 5 in the morning. We'll have just showers here. Our temperatures will be excuse me, above freezing, generally just, some raindrops here as that moves through. And then that sets the stage for another blast of cold air that we're really going to be feeling later Saturday and into Sunday. So here again is the deal coming in for Saturday. With some mixing in North Georgia. Then watch going into Sunday. This is the newest development that we have showing up on the models. I'm showing you the European model because that's the one that I have a little more confidence in. It is showing a better chance. Now again, what's happening here, we have an area of low pressure that could be developing there in the Gulf. And based on this track, where that low would pretty much cross over southeast Georgia and move up the coast, that would keep the moisture to the south of us, and central Georgia and South Georgia would have a better chance for snow than we would here in Atlanta. It's going to be cold enough for snow here in Atlanta, but if that low stays down to the south, that would keep the moisture down to the south. And of course, you would need moisture to mix in with the cold air over us for us to have snow. But that's just one scenario. Look, again, through Sunday, again, the European model showing later in the day, the Georgia coast, the South Carolina coast, potentially getting in on some of that snow, but not here for us. Now, the GFS model is showing something much different. And I'm going to show you the model comparison here. First, let's just kind of walk you through into next week from the European model showing more cold air next week, dry conditions, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll have lows in the 20s, highs in the 40s. So I hesitate to show you the snow comparison because your eye is going to gravitate to the American model, which is going with that low pushing into our area, where if that happened, we would see a better chance for snow here. But I have to tell you, as a meteorologist, it is my job not just to throw maps at you like a lot of people are doing on social media. It's my job to analyze these maps and to understand the biases of these maps. The GFS model often in wintertime throws crazy stuff out there and then it starts scaling back on it. So what we're going to be watching for over the next few days will be the trends. Now we have more than these two models. We have European AI, we have deterministic models, we have ensemble models. So what we're going to be looking at is a lot of those models here over the next few days. Right now, the GFS is really the only one that's going this crazy about the snow, and that is one of the things that happens with the GFS model. So I'm showing you this just to explain the differences, but just because you see this map and you may see people sharing this on social media doesn't mean that that's going to happen. We have to look at all the models and compare. Most of them are trending more like this, which would be nothing over the metro area, and that better chance for snow down on the south side. So we're going to keep watching it. Try to stay with trusted meteorologists who study the models and understand them versus just putting them out there to try to get clicks and shares on social media. But I'm not even putting this one on social media because I don't think that that is going to happen. It could, but that's what we as meteorologists are going to be watching over the next few days, is just the differences within those models and watching the trends. And if the GFS starts kind of pushing it more to the south, or if the European starts pushing it back up toward the north. That's what we're going to be sharing with you over the next few days. But the whole big story is going to be the cold air coming in here. Just be ready to bundle up all day tomorrow from the cold, from the wind, another surge coming in for the weekend. And then it's going to stay cold going through next week too, with those lows in the 20s and highs only in the 40s for next week. So you can see some of the ups and downs here. Tomorrow, only a high of 38. And then Friday morning, starting off at 25. But in the afternoon, we're back up to 50. Saturday morning, above freezing at about 37. Afternoon highs around 48. But then it gets cold again later Saturday into Sunday. And on Sunday, that's where we have to watch that moisture. Right now, based on what the European is showing us, we may not have any rain here, and that rain or snow would be down to the south of us, but we'll keep you posted if that changes. And then there's that really cold air coming in for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with dry conditions, lows in the 20s, and also highs in the 40s. All right, I'll be back with you tonight at 10 for another update. If Angelina is seeing some good snow again up at Hogpen Gap, we'll check in with her again at the top of the hour at 10. Otherwise, it'll be me with an update. And then we'll be back with you tonight at 11. Angelina will join us live again for 11 Alive News tonight at 11, along with Ron, Jennifer, Cody, the whole crew who are out delivering and gathering news stories. And we'll have that more for you coming up tonight at 11 on 11 Alive on 11 Alive Plus. Thanks for watching.